Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. The restaurant industry has been through an unprecedented time since COVID erupted and continues to struggle with staffing and supply shortages. We've been saddened by closures and are grateful for establishments that have persevered. Chef's Corner in Williston is celebrating its 25th year and doing well. Co-founder Chef Jozef Harrewyn, who enjoyed an extensive international culinary career before creating the restaurant, is retiring at the end of this year. But the Williston institution will carry on. I am pleased that he joins us to talk about his career and the food scene in Vermont. Welcome, Chef Jozef, and congratulations on your 25th anniversary.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me on. This is awesome.
So you were born in Belgium, but your parents saw opportunity in South Africa, and indeed your father was successful in the food business there and brought you and your brother when he was established. We have this adorable picture of you and your brother when you got on a plane to go to South Africa, which is where you grew up. And then you apprenticed with your dad after high school. What was the key thing that you learned from your dad?
Well, I mean, at the time we were living there was an apartheid system, and my father made it very clear that in his kitchen and in his mind and his heart, there was no apartheid. So that was off to a very good start, living in a country with that formula. He was also very disciplined. He taught me commitment. He taught me resilience. And above all, he taught me to have an incredibly good sense of humor.
Very needed in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
So you actually returned to Belgium for culinary school via a road trip across Africa, which would be a whole nother program.
Yeah, that's another story.
we actually have a map of that amazing trip, but
yeah, that was a four and a half month trip.
Unbelievable. So you went to culinary school in Belgium, and basically upon graduation, you were in immediate demand. How did you then choose Canada to begin your professional career?
Well, at the time, my girlfriend, who later became my wife, Pamela, and I, we wanted to get out of Europe and just go anywhere in the world. So in those days, it was really easy to immigrate anywhere, especially with a chef profession or pastry chef profession. And in one day, we went to 4 embassies: Canadian, New Zealand, Australia, and Japan. And the Canadian embassy had an immediate opening for pastry chefs. So we said, okay, let's go to Montreal. I got a job offer there on a work permit visa. And we went to Montreal.
And then you returned to South Africa at a certain time to help your dad out after.
Well, after Montreal, I got the big flagship offer with Four Seasons Hotels, and we moved to Edmonton for 4 years. And then from Edmonton, my dad reconnected with us and said, why don't you come back home? The family business is expanding. We had our firstborn son, Brent. We got married in Edmonton at the time, and we went back to South Africa.
And while you were there, you were selected to be on a Culinary Olympics team. And the International Culinary Arts Competition continues to be the most significant in the world and takes place every 4 years in Germany. You were chosen to compete with a team from South Africa, and your team won a gold medal. What is your takeaway from that remarkable experience? And we'll see a few photographs of you 25 years later after that at a reunion. But what was the significance of winning that medal?
Well, the significance was, first of all, we were the first multiracial team that represented South Africa. So we had Africans and not many, but there were 2 Africans on our team, which was actually quite an achievement. I think representing a country and being on a national team is quite an experience. And I learned about teamwork, camaraderie, and perfection. We trained for 2 years. At least 3 times a week on various dishes, and just to perfect. I mean, the World Olympics in culinary is all about perfection.
Right.
We received our blazers, our national blazers, which was quite honorable. I mean, I was very proud, but I was also very humbled by the experience. I was the junior on the team at the time, and the overall life experience was a huge memory for me.
Awesome. So, and you were the pastry chef then, and I'd like to take a look at one of your talented sons, Ashton Harrewyn's video. You are making a pastry called Palmier. He did this with Michael Fisher.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. So let's hear your commentary. Why did you choose pastry as a specialty, chef?
Well, pastry it moves, it's colorful, it explodes, it ferments. It kind of talks to you. There's something about pastry when you're working with all these variables: butter, sugar, eggs, baking soda, baking powder. It's like in a world on its own. And I love the excitement of it. My father told me that there was huge opportunities in the world in the pastry chef department. When I was doing the palm leaf video with my son, it was during COVID. We were closed out for 3 months. And my son, who's a cinematographer, said, "Why don't we make a nice video, black and white, slow motion?"
It's beautiful.
And while I was doing this video, I was spiritually not there. My mind was somewhere else because my hands did the work. My mind was just drifting in this beautiful place of the unknown.
It's very meditative and tactile and exacting. Is that how you usually are when you are baking? Do you get into this meditative state, or was it the video that brought you there?
Absolutely. I think everything about baking and pastry is very meditative. It's very it's spiritual. It's very rewarding. You can't mess with the product. You got to listen to the product. It's been an amazing career for me. Absolutely love it, and I would redo it.
So you're alone in this video. It was made during COVID, but typically you're working in a kitchen with a team. It's a team sport.
Absolutely, you're spot on about that one. It's a team sport. My father, who was a World War II veteran, used to tell me, when I decided to go into business, that the kitchen is like the war or like the military without the bullets. Team sport. And I mean, it's so true. The camaraderie has to be really good for it to succeed.
So let's talk now about how you came to Vermont. 4 Seasons called on you again, and you took off and worked in Houston, followed by the Ritz-Carlton in Chicago as the head pastry chef. And then in 1991, you were recruited to work and teach at the New England Culinary Institute here in Vermont. So you're in a very high position at a very fancy place and kitchen. Why did you take that position?
Well, it was rated the best. Yeah, it was rated the best hotel in America at the time. It was in the top 100 in the world.
Right. It
was 4 Seasons Hotel Ritz-Carlton. And I got the job offer through my friend, Chef Jozef Harrewyn, owns Café Provence. He was the head instructor at NACI. And when Pam and I and the boys flew over for the interview over Vermont, it was in foliage. And we looked through the window and we said, this is a no-brainer. We got to move to this state. Beautiful leaves, beautiful foliage. And I took the job as a teacher. I always wanted to teach. And it was a sort of a down move in pay in that, but it was a lifestyle improvement, incredibly, to live in Vermont. We felt very privileged to be able to move here.
Well, and you did teach. You were there for 6 years, and then you opened Chef's Corner in Williston 25 years ago. What are the secrets to your success, do you think?
Well, the first secret is knowledge. You've got to have knowledge. And then from that, you've got to be able to execute it with a good attitude, good energy, and good effort. And everything else comes after that. It's all about the inner strength of personality and the character to be able to survive in this business. And knowledge is if you can take your knowledge you have and execute it in very nice, friendly, good, productive ways, it works.
And make the kitchen work, hopefully not like a war zone like your father talked about, but really make that team work.
Yeah, my dad, he just compared that because he said it's camaraderie.
Right, right.
And the best kitchens I worked in the world had a mix of nationalities and genders. They were the best kitchens.
So diversity is also helpful in the kitchen.
Diversity is huge, and we welcome that.
So how do you see the food scene in Vermont now and moving into the future, post-COVID and post-New England Culinary Institute, which closed down?
The food scene in Vermont is explosive. It's incredible. A lot of great things going on, farms, events, and just in general, the farmers markets. I think it's amazing. I think what we're really missing is a culinary school. I really think we should get a culinary school going back in the state, because the culinary school was a huge part of students. Students bring a lot of good energy into the environment of the culinary world. So that's what we're missing right now.
Do you see that happening? Are you with your colleagues talking about that and how we might bring something back to, to feed, students into the system?
We always talk about it. Always. We miss the students. We miss NECI. We miss the internships. And I would be very willing to sit on a board and help with the opening of a new school. There's potential in this state. This is a beautiful state. Good place to live. Good place to learn as a student too. It's a clean environment, clean, healthy environment.
Right, and certainly you have so much to offer. How did Chef's Corner survive through COVID? This was such a difficult time for restaurants, and you seem to move through it.
We barged through. We were shut down for 3 months. We reopened. We went by the rules, 50% capacity. But I think our survival was because we were resilient. We were creative. We accommodated the customer with new ideas, silly ideas. We did like a donut dilemma day. We did eclair mayhem day on Fridays. And I think just because we were a team, we were here to survive, and we were here to help the community. And we are really grateful for the community because they supported us right through the COVID days. And now we're doing actually extremely well, back on track, open only 5 days a week.
Yeah, awesome. Eclair Mayhem Day. I love that.
Yeah,
so I want to thank you, and I also want to give my best to your partners, Chef Scott Sorrell and Jeff Moisen, who will carry out your legacy at Chef's Corner. We have a picture of the three of you. You are partners and moving on. And will Chef's Corner remain the same? Will it be quite different with these two partners?
No, nothing will change. They will keep the legacy going. They're incredible partners, hardworking, love the industry, and are great for the community. I appreciate them very, very much. We've been 15 years together. So
well, thank you for
just carry on.
Coming to this community. We'll be looking for a culinary school if that happens. I think that would be awesome for Vermont.
Yeah. On the board. Yeah. We just need to find some people with money.
Right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Chef Jozef, for joining us today, and good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thanks a lot. Love you too.
And thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well. Eat well.